Tell me what brings you out here to the Train of Parades event here.
I like having seats and riding for free.
I enjoy like seeing the old trains and like history.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Are you guys rail fanners?
Nah,
not really.
Just people looking at old trains?
Yeah.
How did you hear about the event?
Instagram.
I heard about it from him.
And how long you guys been out?
Outside?
Since 1.
Like 1.
1 o'clock? So how many different types of trains? They said they're running like several types of trains.
Yeah, like 4 or something.
4 or 5, I don't know.
You guys rode the R32 trains?
Nah, not
yet. This is our first one.
First one. So what else you want to tell like the folks who might be coming tomorrow? Because it's going to be out tomorrow also.
I think it's going to be a valid ride and
try to get a seat.
Yeah, try to get a seat. We squeezed our way through for a seat. We ran from the other track.
Yeah, we really just ran from there up here.
Yeah.
Okay. And what else you want to say?
Have a good one.
All right. Now, can you tell me can you spell out your names, guys?
ISSAM.
And you?
AEDAN.
All right. Thank you. Take a break real quick.
Oh, you want me to push him or something?
Yes. Alright, let me stick my head out.
Sir!
I never understood.
Brings you out here to the Train of Parades event here.
Well, these are the trains that I grew up riding as a child in Far Rockaway. And I've been a train buff all my life, so this is the first time they've had the Parade of Trains since before COVID. So I had to come out here today. I came from Philadelphia, so it was definitely worth the trip today.
Oh, so you live out in Philly right now?
I do. I'm originally from Queens and Far Rockaway, but I live in Philadelphia now.
So what station in the A you grew up taking the train?
Mott Avenue.
Mott Avenue, all right. And you grew up riding these, and I'm assuming in the 60s and 70s, right?
That is correct. These cars, which are part of the R19 series, were in service until 1977. So during my early childhood, I was fortunate enough to ride them while they were in regular service.
So you must have remembered paying the extra $1.50 to fare?
That's correct. You had to pay a fare when you entered the system, and when you came back from Manhattan, you paid another fare when you went out.
Right. Must have been a long ride. Still is a long ride to get to 7th Street. So, how many events have you ridden the R1s and series anytime after retirement?
Yeah, well, I've ridden them as the holiday train, and on excursions they used to have the March of Dimes, which is about 19 years ago when they first returned the R19s to excursions. And I've had the opportunity to ride and operate a car of this series up in Connecticut at the Shoreline Trolley Museum.
Oh, at the Seashore Trolley Museum? So have you worked in the transit-related field as someone that's interested in transit, or are you just a rail fan?
I'm just a rail fan. I was an EMT for many years here in New York, and now I do other work as a freelance writer, a journalist in Philadelphia.
Oh, that's great. And have you seen the crowds? Do you think the crowds has exceeded your expectations so far? Because it's been the first time since the pandemic being out. What's your thoughts?
They have. they have. I was really impressed by the size of the turnout, and I think it shows that people of all ages are very interested and they love their old trains and they come out to see part of living history in New York.
Okay. Have you anything else you want to say?
I'm grateful to the people and the staff of the New York City Transit Museum and the 207 shops that keep all these wonderful old relics in working order for everybody to enjoy. A generation that was not yet born when these cars were built can appreciate them now.
Do you have a favorite car?
This one.
And what makes it your favorite? Do you like the ambiance, or just sitting in chairs, or what?
Well, these cars have a character that's all their own. Obviously, they're very different from the modern cars we ride today. They have wicker seats, open ceiling fans, incandescent bulbs, and they have a personality all their own. And of course, they're a part of my childhood, so it's wonderful to come out and relive a part of the early part of my life today.
Okay, all right. And obviously, for TV purposes, you might know. Can you spell out your name?
Jeffrey-Scher, Jeffrey Scher.
Okay, and you are a freelance journalist?
Yes, I write as Nathan James, that's my artist name, and I write for Where the Money Brings Me to help pay the bills.
Okay, all right. And where could people see your work? You have an Instagram, social media? Or?
Yes, you can see me on Instagram at NathanJames64, on Facebook at NathanJamesFB, and on Twitter at Real Nathan James. I'm also a judge of election in the city of Philadelphia. I have social media for that purpose. You can see Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as Jeffrey Scher, PHL.
All right, thank you very much, Jeffrey. Hey, what the fuck?
Yes, the great Robert Fine.
You don't get these views with a new train like an R160.
Yeah,
Well, this is nothing like an R160. You're riding right over the third rail.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That was good. That was good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's Tony. That was Tony already. You don't want to come barreling in? I don't. You don't want to go barreling in? You just can't. If Bravo's doing it, I don't understand why you can't. I mean, don't take a break. Just knock it off. Let it coast. Ain't not gonna happen. Ah, man. Boring. I mean, if Bravo's gonna do 45 with the fucking 68.8, you can't do it. There we go. Knock it off. Kings Island?
Let me go back. The last two were actually me communicating.
Let me get a picture.
That looks like the kids are fun.
By the way, happy birthday, even though it's tomorrow.
Thank you. Much appreciated. I'm going to be old tomorrow.
Stop it.
A guy named Nick from Workbench.LT.
Okay.
Probably seen him before.
Yep.
What's that?
Ba-dong.
Someone please tell that person to put their arm back inside the train.
What happened?
What the hell?
Yeah, what car?
Parts out the window.
What are these kids doing now? They're getting stupid? So what happened?
No, they just wanted somebody to put their hand back inside. No biggie.
Sorry. The bump's always messing up on the bump. Don't get it. You're right. I'll get some of these people, man.
No big deal.
It is when certain things happen. When they're pulling cords and doing other stuff, breaking the cabs. If I gotta punch someone, let me know. I'm down for this shit. Yeah. Oh, I know. Oh yeah, Morelia, definitely. You want the window down there?
Oh, God.
Early on
Hey, can I ask you a question? Ocean Parkway is where they're gonna have all the trains marked, right? For pictures. Yeah. Which way is Ocean Parkway?
Yeah, the huge train. So you have to get all that. Wait for the next
Now it says N. Now that train says N. It's saying wacky things all day. I've seen things. Now it's saying
the art that you didn't want to do this. I was walking home. Hello. Remember, it has run off of someone's property. Yep. What are you doing? I think it's 7 p.m.
Excuse me, go. I gotta get in there. Oh, yeah, remember he covered? I was like one of his last days. That was about, I think, a year ago, like a few weeks ago. It came up on my phone and it said, oh, memory of this thing.
Oh yeah, we took a picture. We made it.
Yeah, we made the 11. It came up. I meant to send it to you actually, but I forgot.
I think you did.
I might have, I don't know.
To bring me.
I'm liking the new look on this song here.
Trying to go incognito on this. Storm chasing everything this week. It's crazy. Can't be going all over the place. Can't be going to Rhode Island. Yeah. This stuff too. You got the snap?
A guy named Nick from Work Trains IRC. Okay. Probably seen him before.
Yep.
What's that?
Someone please tell that person to put their arm back and start the train.
What happened?
What the hell?
Yeah, what car?
Parts out the window.
What are these kids doing now? They're getting stupid?
So what happened?
No, they just wanted somebody to put their hand back inside. No biggie.
Sorry. These are the bumps always messing up on the bumps. I don't get it. You're the light. I don't get some of these people, man.
No big deal.
It is when certain things happen. When they're pulling cords and doing other stuff, breaking the cabs.
If I gotta punch someone, let me know. I'm down for this shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Oh yeah, Morel here, definitely. You want the window down there?
Oh God.
We all do you can. Say I'm taking the train. You can't say no, right? Really?
Hey, can I ask you a question? Ocean Parkway is where they're going to have all the trains parked, right? For pictures. Yeah, which way is Ocean Parkway?
Yeah, the cute train. So you have to get all wait for the next
Now it says N. Now that train says N. It's saying wacky things all day. I've seen TV. Now it's saying
the art thing. You didn't want to do this. I was walking
hello. Remember, it has run off of someone's property.
Yep.
What are you doing?
I think it's 7 p.m.
I gotta get in remember he covered? That was like one of his last days. That was about a year ago, like a few weeks ago. It came up on my phone and it said, oh, memory of this date.
Oh yeah, we took the picture. We made the 11.
Yeah, we made the 11. It came up. I meant to send it to you actually, but I forgot.
I think you did.
I might have, I don't know.
It's very mean.
I'm liking the new look on this song here.
We're trying to go incognito on this. They recognize me. Storm chaser, they're going to go. It's crazy. Yeah, they're going all over the place. Yeah, they're going to Rhode Island. This stuff, too. You got this stuff?
Can you tell me what's the event here today titled and what's bringing out a lot of the rail fan community and transit community to this Brighton Beach Station?
Today is called Parade of Trains, and it is one weekend a year that we take some of our vintage and antique fleet out so that the public can ride with just the swipe of a Metro card or now a tap of the Omni.
Okay. So apparently this is the first event held since the pandemic. Has this exceeded expectations in terms of crowd capacity at the event?
The last time that we had Parade of Trains was in 2019, and you know it's nice to be back, and everybody's been really glad that we're back and having a lot of fun and taking lots of pictures, enjoying our cars, and you just walked in front of my interview. Thank you. Do you need me to say that again?
No, that's fine. It's going to be raw, unedited.
Oh, great.
All right, so how many cars are been taken out for this event?
We have, I think, 4 trains. Right, we have 4. Excuse me, can you move your? Can you not see? Thank you.
Stay right here.
All right.
You asked me how many trains we have. We have 4 trains. We have our BU cars, which are from 1908 and 1904. We have our Train of Many Metals, or SME cars, which is one R16 and two R10s. We have a consist of AB standards, and we also have a consist of R9s, which are from the 30s.
Okay, so that's a lot of variety of equipment.
A variety of equipment spanning from 1904 until the 1980s. There's an R32s that are making a guest appearance every now and then to tantalize the crowd, and those just came off the road last year.
So, what time is this? What days are
It's today until 4 p.m. and tomorrow Sunday it's from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Oh, that's great. Has there been any, obviously, a lot of excitement that first year, a lot of rowdy people. Has there been any incidents, because remember the R32 event, there was a little ruckus.
I think everybody's been pretty well behaved, and, we encourage that because, these trains are to be loved and cherished and to be enjoyed by everybody. So, hopefully people come here in that spirit that we're here to celebrate these trains.
Can you explain more about the New York City Transit Museum and what it does?
The New York Transit Museum is an institution that is charged with preserving the rich the rich transit history of New York City. So that includes horse cars, trolleys, buses, elevated railroads, steam railroads, commuter railroads like Long Island Railroad and Metro North, and of course the subways. So if it had wheels and operated within the MTA's current service area, that's what we're all about. And we're about telling the stories of the people who made all of that happen.
How long have you been a curator at the museum?
I have been the curator of the museum since last year, and I have worked at the museum since 2014.
It's been a decade. Any other future events similar, like we've seen today?
The next time some of these trains might be able to be seen is probably during the holiday time. We traditionally run something called the Holiday Train, which is also in regular service like this. So if you swipe your MetroCard or tap your Omni, you might be able to ride. Has not been determined yet. And we run excursions during the year to various places like the Rockaways, like Greenwood Cemetery, like Woodlawn Cemetery.
Any excursions have happened this summer?
We've had a couple this summer so far. One to the Rockaways. There was one that went all the way up to the Bronx from the decommissioned South Ferry Station. And I can't remember what the other one was.
So, for viewers watching this, today and tomorrow, 11 to 4.
Yes.
And
everyone is welcome.
What else you want to say, parting comments?
Just that, this event is a testament to the great work that our crew and volunteers do for making our trains operable. There's a train on the rails today, an R10 car, that was spent a lot of time being rehabilitated. They started in 2017 and they just finished a couple of months ago, and it's gorgeous, and I want everyone to love it as much as I do.
Now, as you know, you've been on television before. Can you spell out your name?
Sure. Jody Shapiro, Jodishapiro.
And your position at the New York City Transit?
I'm the curator of the New York Transit Museum.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
They took that train out of service.
I was a conductor on this.
R32s, 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 32. Northbound sucks! Northbound sucks! R32! R32!
No honk? Fuck.
No, give it up!
Oh wait, damn, that brake release.
That brake release.
Yo, we got that chance at the
Now we need that 46 to honk. It'll be perfect.
Yo, everybody do the horn.
Wait, there's a 46 coming?
Yes. Yo, we need that 46.
Come on. Give it the horn. The horn.
Down it in the way.
I'm gonna stay around until the train gets back to the yard. I'll wait for them.
Right. So, what brings you out to the train parades event here today? And you see a lot of old classic trains. Just tell us more about the event.
Gotcha. Well, what brought me out here in the first place was the R32. that is the most electrifying train in all of New York City Transit.
Okay.
Yes. So, and you know, not only that, but then also the fans, the vibe, you know, everything. You know, just the atmosphere in itself.
Right. This is the first event being held after the pandemic, so it's 3 years. So,
yes.
How many people, like the amount of people seems to be exceeded amount of transit museum people.
Well, it's good to see everybody come back, you know, after all this time, you know, especially with the pandemic and stuff like that just recently happened and things like that. You know, it gives a reason for people to come back outside, get back into the subway, you know, reconnect with, you know, what brought them outside and, you know, brought them to really experience New York City Transit in the first place. You know what I'm saying? With the equipment that brought them there in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So it's a very warm and welcoming experience coming back to the subway after the pandemic.
Okay. So, how do you think the Transit Museum and the MTA handled the event?
The MTA, they handle the event fantastic. I mean, you know, these guys are out here, you know, these guys are out here, you know, making sure that, you know, everybody's safe, you know, everybody's having a good time and stuff like that. They're on their job constantly, you know, and mind you, with all the stuff that the MTA already goes through as it is, you know, on a regular, you know, to actually sit there and actually take the time out to actually give us, the fans, you know, a treat in itself, you know, while everything is happening, you know, we greatly, as rail fans, we appreciate the MTA for that tenfold.
Right. Well, what do you think? Do you see any incidents or ruckus? Because like last time the R32 car came in December of last year when its retirement, there were people taking signs, throwing garbage and all that.
Yeah.
Did you notice any situation? Because so far I haven't heard, but did you hear anything?
Well, this time around we haven't really heard anything in terms of like anybody like conquesting or anybody doing vandalism to the trains. The reason that is because, you know, now I see a lot more people are now starting to respect the equipment and stuff like that because, you know, they're not in service anymore. You know, the very trains that we grew up with, they're now retired and stuff like that, so you won't get the same experiences that you would on the new train and things like that. So there's been a great deal of respect that's been gained by those older cars, and, you know, they're now being appreciated instead of being destroyed. So a secondary reason as to why I'm out here is also because of the R32s. My grandfather actually helped to put the bodies together for the R32s. So, you know, not only is it just a fanning experience, but also it's more of like a something that dates back to my own family, to my own roots as well. So that's the reason why I mainly came out here for the R32. Funny enough, it's leaving right now. There you go.
Can you do the whole spelling out thing?
Oh, okay, yeah. Do you want like the full?
Yeah,
Knuckles too? Okay, so Patrick Stewart. PATRICKSTEWART. Known as Knuckles of the Super Subway Brothers. That is KNUCKLES. Knuckles of the Super. YouTube on all social media platforms. YouTube is the main platform that we use, which is at the Super Subway Brothers on YouTube.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
The other one says Brighton Beach.
So, what brings you to the Train of Parades event today, and your thoughts on it so far?
Well, the Parade of Trains is one of my favorite events I like to do every year, and this is the first time in 3 years that they brought it back after the pandemic. So it's wonderful that a lot of rail enthusiasts have shown up and have had some fun along the way. And one of the amazing things about having a lot of respect for the rail enthusiasts in terms of seeing their faces when they see a vintage train that fully embodies the significance of Old New York is the wondrous quality that comes within it. I think that we've lost some of that in this generation, but I think that with these cars that truly embody the contributions of the New York City subway system, I think that they'll continue to serve the masses of New Yorkers for generations to come. And I think that those who've never ridden one of those trains, like the ones that the Trans Museum rolled out today for the Parade of Trains, are missing out on a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So it's wonderful that they brought them out, and I enjoyed myself.
Right. And what did you do? Any other like rail fanning, like pictures?
I did. I did some videos throughout the occasion, and I think that all the trains which have been captured above, I think that there's nothing when it comes to the subway car. But nevertheless, I think that once you get a hold of a significant subway car that truly embodies the contributions of the subway system, then it really embodies the heart and soul of us rail enthusiasts that really reflect on how far we come and how much progress we're going into when it comes towards preserving these types of cars for generations to come. So I think that it really comes down towards two things: acknowledging the existence of Old New York in terms of trains, and reminiscing about these types of subway cars that truly embody what once was and what will be in the future.
So I see you're dressed to the nines. So what's this?
I'm a vintage enthusiast, so I could clearly say that I'm an eccentric. So what I do is that I dress up like this almost every day because I have a couple of vintage outfits from the 1930s, 40s, and 50s that I wear almost every day as well. And part of my personality is that I dress up and I truly embody the significance of how they really embody the fashions of the eras. So in my sense of view, then it really pinpoints towards one thing, and that is to really reflect on these types of evolutions when it comes towards many fashion eras, and most of the interest that comes towards really acknowledging the types of fashions that truly influence modern fashion today. And I think that regardless of what many people think, fashion continues to evolve. And for my own personal sake, dressing up to the nines every day really embodies sophistication and also a true sense of masculinity that is clearly lacking in today's general society, and vice versa.
And how does this relate to your interest in mass transit and trains?
Well, I've been a rail enthusiast since I was about somewhere between about 4 or 5 years old, and I've had a much great love for them ever since. And since then, I think that the embodiment of trains and how they work, how they function, they really embody wondrous quality that goes into them, how they work, for example, and how they continue to serve us throughout the test of time. So all in all, it's really a complete embodiment of how these cars really reflect on how we see the viewpoints around us and how they truly change the mentality of the soul for the better.
Right. And what's your favorite cars so far? This event?
The R19s, which are typically one of my favorite subway cars. And
can you describe what they look like?
Basically, they have an Art Deco aesthetic look, but basically the technology and the interior exterior design is basically influenced by the Art Deco design, because if you look into the original blueprints of those cars dating back to 1928, you can see that even though the Art Deco phenomenon was in full bloom, you could clearly see the influences in those cars and how they continue to fascinate New Yorkers for over half a century. So these cars continue to not only enlighten New Yorkers, but basically for those that have never seen them before, they clearly serve an example of a bygone era and how they continue to preserve, how they continue to really serve the needs of rail enthusiasts and vintage enthusiasts as well for many years to come.
Any parting comments you want to say?
I could clearly say that if you've never been to this event, you're missing out at a once-in-a-lifetime experience, because you'll have the time of your life seeing these trains and making sure that the memories that you make will be forever etched in your consciousness in the days, months, and years ahead.
Okay, and now obviously for television purposes, could you spell out your name and what you do and
Eddie Abreu. My last name is Abreu, spelled like this, A-B-R-E-U. I'm a writer.
Okay, and where can you see your work?
Facebook and Instagram. Basically, I post a lot of social commentary on different things, so it's basically like a blog. But until you get to see some of the posts that I post up, it's really, really fascinating. So hope you check out my blog, and no topic is off topic.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
There'll be plenty more tomorrow. Hopefully more people show up. Although I didn't kind of like it when it wasn't, compact. Because I understand some of